Hi there, it's Nicole here today with a Girl Boss Diva card, and this card showcases creating a custom stamped background with only a single greeting stamp, which is going to be that background black on black that you see there. Plus, I have combined stamps from several different stamps manufacturers again here today for my card, something that I have really been loving lately. I am using this stitched banner die from Simon Says Stamp as my guide. I am going to be die cutting this, and I stamped a greeting from the Simon Says Stamp Choose Happy stamp set. I think it is so clever. It says do things that make you happy within the confines of the legal system. And then I have taken this darling little diva girl from the new Mommy Lhey Divas stamp set and stamped her right above the greeting. Now the greeting I stamped with Lawn Fawn Black Licorice ink just because I think it's a lot crisper and darker, and I really wanted that for the greeting. The girl image was stamped with Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink because I'm going to do some Copic coloring. And then I die cut this using that stitched banner die from Simon Says Stamp. I am going to speed through the coloring, or I've sped it up to make it go a little bit faster. You could definitely color with whatever you prefer to color with, whether it be Copic markers, watercolors, colored pencils, other kinds of markers. There are so many options out there. I grabbed Copics just because I am comfortable with those. And I am coloring in her skin first and then kind of jumping around. For whatever reason, when I colored this image, I just kind of went wherever I felt like coloring. So I started with her skin, but then I knew I wanted to do some bright pink stripes. So I went ahead and did that for the skirt. And that's really kind of what inspired the rest of the design. This is one of those images that I didn't go into knowing exactly how I wanted to color it. I knew I kind of wanted it to be something kind of fresh and bright and fun. So before I finished her outfit, I knew I wanted the outline of her sunglasses to be that bright pink as well, and the bow in her hair. So I went ahead and did those three areas first, and then kind of built out from there. And while I was contemplating what other color I wanted to use with pink, I went ahead and colored in her hair. I'm using a feathering technique. It's going to give you a little bit more of a realistic look for the hair, which is what I prefer. So I'm going to feather, or I went in with my lightest color, feathered that in. I'm going in with my mid-tone color and feathering that in now, just because there's such a huge difference between the light and the dark. That light really is mostly going to be covered up by my mid-tone and darkest colors, but that lighter color will show through and add some nice highlight areas. Then I'm going in with my darkest color and really darkening up, shortening up the strokes just a little bit so that you still see that mid-tone color. But this is going to add that depth and dimension to the hair. Now she does have some cute little dangly earrings there, and so I'm being kind of careful to go around those. And I did go back in with my mid-tone color, add a little bit more of that in areas where I felt like it was a little too light. For the sunglasses themselves, I wanted them to look like kind of that mirror reflection. So I'm using some cool grays, C4, 7, and 9. Color that in, get it the way I want it to look. Once I have that blended out, I'm going to take a white glaze pen and add detail to the little highlight areas there. And this is where, as I was coloring all of that, I thought aqua would look really cool with that bright fuchsia pink. So I went ahead and added the other stripes to her skirt with my aqua colors, which is blue, green, 32 and 49. I'm going to color her little crop top there with those same two markers. I think that really just finishes off her outfit, makes it so super cute. I added some Stardust glitter pin for the earrings, just adding those dots of glitter there you can see, which I think finishes those off, makes it easy to color as well. Her coffee cup I did in a couple of shades of warm gray, very, very light. The little label and the little drink stopper I did in greens, kind of like Starbucks. And then I decided for her handbag to go back with that fuchsia color. So I'm using that same color combination of red, violet, 9, 19, and 69 to finish off her handbag. Make sure I get it blended the way I want it to look. I am going to take some glossy accents and apply that to the sunglasses and her handbag. I wanted it to look like a patent leather handbag, so I went ahead and used glossy accents on it. I'm going to color in the tips of her shoes with the Cool Gray 9 marker, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of a shadow here with some Cool Gray markers to ground the image there and really make it, I just like how it rounds it out and makes it look complete. Now I'm going to use the Misty. I'm going to remove that foam insert from the Misty. I love diagonal backgrounds, and these are my two favorites. The one on the left was Simon Says Stamp. It's a little bit wider, and I'm actually going to use the narrower one from My Favorite Things today. But I love using the Misty for these because they're so big. It makes it so easy to get a nice stamped impression. So I have my background rectangle there, and I'm simply inking it up with black licorice Lawn Fawn ink, and then inking my background panel. And it's that great skinny diagonal black on white background, which I love. Now this is the part of the card where I created a tone on tone background with a single greeting stamp. This Girl Boss stamp is from the Divas stamp set, the same image that the girl comes from. One of my favorite ways to create a text background like this is to go at a diagonal, because I think it's so easy to, if you mess up, it's not near as noticeable as it is if you go straight across. So starting in one corner, I just simply work my way out. I am inking up all of these images with the Versamark ink and then sprinkling clear embossing powder. I want this to be black on black, so shiny black embossing on black. You could also use black embossing powder if you want to. I am using clear, but I'm simply going to repeat this image over and over until I get it completely covered. I am not heating up any of the images or any of the text until I have the entire panel stamped. So it's simply just repeating it over and over. When I first started, I did pretty much stamp one image and then apply the embossing powder just so I could see where I was. As I got more comfortable, the further down the strip that I got, I went ahead and stamped more images at a time and sprinkled on that embossing powder. It just depends on whatever you're comfortable with. The Versamark really does show up pretty nicely on this black cardstock, so you're able to stamp more than one image at a time. I didn't want any overlapping, so I would stamp a few images, sprinkle on that clear embossing powder, stamp a few more images and sprinkle our text, and then sprinkle on my embossing powder. Once I have this completely covered, I'm going to take my heat tool, and I like to make sure that my heat gun is very well heated before I take it to the paper. So I usually just kind of hold it while it heats up, and be careful you're not aiming it at anything, but make sure it's really good and warm, and then I bring it to my paper and heat emboss the whole thing. So you can see I'm just moving it back and forth, and as that paper warms up, it's starting to melt, and I'm getting that awesome tone on tone text background. This is going to look great on my card. So the background of the card is going to be that stripe that I stamped with the My Favorite Things diagonal stripes background. Then I've got a piece of doll pink cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. That's going to just kind of frame up my embossed panel piece. I need to trim off just a little bit along the bottom here. Go ahead and get rid of that real quick. So nice layers for this. And then I'm going to put some adhesive all over the front of a top fold card base and apply all of these panels to that. So some nice textures going on in the background of this card. On my stitched banner strip, I am going to take a scoring board and just score that along the top. I did trim off a little bit of this banner already, but that's just going to create a nice score line that I can tuck behind one of these layers and flip that banner over the top, so that holds it in place really nicely along the top of the card. Now there's some cute little hearts from the Simon Says Stamp Choose Happy stamp set, the same stamp set that the greeting comes from. I'm going to ink up the hearts with the Doll Pink ink from Simon Says Stamp. This is the ink that coordinates with that Doll Pink cardstock that I have framing up my two black backgrounds there, the black on white and then the embossed black on black. I'll stamp some of these hearts here, a couple of them down near the bottom and one up near the top. Now I think they kind of just look like they're hanging out randomly until I add the rest of the finishing details. I like the pop of color they add though. So I added these. I'm going to apply some glossy accents to these hearts, but then I'm going to finish my scattering of cute little elements with some pretty pink posh sequins and confetti. So while these hearts maybe look like they're just kind of hanging out in outer space, once you add the rest of the detail, I really think it finishes off the whole design. So I'm going to be using some teeny tiny silver heart confetti and then the 4mm metallic silver sequins. To attach the confetti, I'm using Ranger Multi-Medium. And to attach the sequins, I like to use Dots Bling Glue Dots. I'm using the Quick Stick tool to help place my confetti exactly where I want it to go. Once I have all those little pieces in place, that is going to finish off my card design. So just make sure and get all of those lined up exactly where I want them. Just a few more cute little confetti pieces. So such a fun Girl Boss Divas card, I think. I just love these stamp sets together. I love mixing and matching. It's a great way to get more out of the stamps that you may already own. Thanks for watching this video showcasing lots of stamps and dies to create this Girl Boss Divas card. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos showcasing Mommy Lhey stamps that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.